Hello, 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 beautiful souls, beautiful soul family. I just wanted to make a very quick video today, just a couple energies that are coming up for all of you in the soul circle that have been working with the Tonglen practice, that have been working with the practice of beginning to start to breathe off all of the shadow, all of the pain, all of the energy that has ever felt limited from any of our younger years. The invitation was to take some time to go through each of our years for however long we have been circling the sun in this incarnation, to take some time to do a practice for each one. And I will tell you that personally, I am still spending time with just the aspect within the moon, or within the womb, sorry, within the moon, within the womb. And within this, what I have really recognized with this process is that it's actually going backwards, if you will. The experience of being within there and bringing different aspects back to crystalline form, that within each of these unravelings, so to speak, that there is a lightening and an opening to prior moments before. So the moment before the consciousness moved into the womb, and then from wherever the consciousness was before it moved into the womb, there's been aspects of even moving back beyond that. This is something I'm very excited to share with the Soul Circle this evening, because I've actually been introduced to other race lines of beings that are here interdimensionally, here on Earth. They're here on Earth, but they exist within a different layer of the Earth. They also exist within a different dimensional level of consciousness than us, and they also have a lot of distortion and pain that they've had to deal with some of the invading forces upon the planet, and how they've been manipulated many times to influence us in some ways, particularly different times in our womb and younger Earth times. So I've had incredibly deep conversations with some of the representatives of this race line that is here on Earth, and their revelations, their perspective, their connection to humanity, and so on and so forth. And even some of this revelation of working with the time in the womb has actually given me the opportunity to really observe the soul box, so to speak, the different places where the many angelic fragments of soul have been housed in boxes and therefore placed into reincarnational cycles. And I will also get to explain this a little bit, particularly as an energy that has been used to keep us distracted, primarily to the best way I can kind of describe this, sometimes if you imagine somebody was maybe torturing someone for drowning, and they keep letting them come up for a little bit of air, and by the time you kind of catch your breath, you kind of get dunked again. And that's a little bit what some of these reincarnational cycles have been like. And not so dramatic, but almost as though it's really just kind of keep throwing the fish back in the water, so to speak, in order to not let it fly away. And within this, there was another huge download of information as I got to be within that realm, tap into that consciousness, and then even begin to go further back in consciousness streams than that. And I won't go too far beyond that, but there is quite a bit that this is going to play into a lot of our life cycles that have taken place, and a kind of a realization, even a lot of souls that maybe have felt that they've never had incarnations on Earth. It's going to show that there is actually still energy, that if we're here in a human body in this lifetime, that even if it feels like the first lifetime, that there is still within the 15 dimensional universal template experiences within aspects of the history that have been going on here. There's no accident to why our geometry brought us here. And that as we get to tap into this energy, how do we begin to work through this? Because I connect with so many souls, so many individuals that come for either past life regression, QHHT, or quantum soul chart readings to understand their galactic DNA, their galactic history, and maybe get some answers as to some of the confusions going on in this lifetime. And so a lot of times there's this vibrational energy of, why am I here? I feel as though I didn't choose this. I feel as though I can't wait to get back out of here. Um, and many of these different vibrations of feeling almost kind of like a skepticism, or I'm told I have choice, but that doesn't feel entirely correct. And I will tell you, I have listened to many near death experience videos, primarily based on this energy and knowledge of the soul cubes, or the boxes of which our souls are placed into. And I will tell you, if you know how to listen to a lot of the near death experiences, you will hear the archonic programming behind them. And that even though they sound many times, many very loving, as though it's actual family that's meeting up with them, that again, we have to remember these dimensional beings have the ability to see every single thing within our memory banks. Therefore, they know what we are resonant with. They know who who has been in our life. They know who matters to us. I'll put it that way. So therefore, if you're having a near-death experience, they're not going to show you a Hindu god if you were maybe following a Christian way of thinking, and vice versa. Near-death experiences are always going to provide to you the things that are familiar to you, so that it will pull on the emotions. And within this is, again, you have to nitpick through them and really listen to them with discernment. But you will hear over and over and over again that there's a massive vibration to a lot of these experiences where they're like, nope, I don't want to go back, I'm good, I'm done. And they will go through experience after experience where they're shown things, in order to get them to choose to come back. And this is really, really key, this idea of choosing. And that a lot of times this choosing is done through some false pretense of what the job will be, what the purpose will be, why they need to go back and do this or that. And a lot of times they're like, I don't want to. That's going to be difficult. That's going to be hard. It's going to be intense. And it's almost as though there's an energy of just needing to get them back in there. And there's been other experiences where others have shared too, having felt that, where actually these beings there, seeming very, he described them as seeming very tall, white, or some other humanoid, but not quite exactly in the same frame of appearance as we are in human. And that when they saw him there, they went, what is he doing here? Send him back right away. So this is very, very fascinating as we get to look at, well, what does this mean for our purpose? What does this mean for why we're here? And I want to be really transparent in all of this because, as we go through a lot of these, there is a sense of, what is our higher purpose? What are we attuning to? What are we aligning to when we began to really align ourselves to the Christos mission? Well, the Christos mission is about creating the way for all souls to return back home. Not to keep getting thrown back in, And so this is where I really think there's a real powerful energy to how we utilize our discernment and how we start to really prepare for when we leave the body. Maybe it's a near-death experience and it's just a temporary experience. But say you have a near-death experience, but you're aware of this. Now maybe you have the cognitive awareness, because you do have your consciousness when you leave the body, to know what questions to ask, to know what things to command, to know what things to ask in that state, rather than feeling as though others just have more knowing or awareness in that realm, so we just want to listen and go along with whatever they're saying. And so this is really about our empowerment, and our empowerment to live lucidly every single moment, that we're living lucidly in our day. We're not just agreeing to things because that's the way things work on the earth right now, but we realize that really truly everything on earth is made up in some way. It's been dreamed into consciousness, and then collective agreements to these dreams create solidity to which we think are laws or rules or religions and things like this. And so now, as we start to use discernment and question all of these, we are coming into our crystalline heart core to question all of these things and say, what is my truth? Now, when we even say my truth, even that is an illusion, because there is no such thing as my truth and your truth. There just is truth. And so, as we begin to acclimate towards this awareness, we will many times move down these rabbit holes that will feel very uncomfortable. Like the rug will be pulled out from under us. Like there will be an uncertainty many times of what is the purpose of all of this. And in that, I invite you gently to always come back to heart, to heart, to heart, to love, to consciousness, because I will say, beyond all things, this is the one vibration that even with many of the advanced races that don't even see the earth realm or humans as significant because of the level of lack of understanding of how other levels of consciousness are even functioning, or where we are eventually moving to, the acknowledgement of our child mind here, that there is still always that vibration of love, the fabric of love, the geometry of love, the source codes of love. And as we attune to this is a really beautiful awareness that we can step into. And I want to just share very quickly, just checking the time really quick, something from the Kali Oracle. I pulled a card. I was just working with this because there's a lot coming up. There's a lot of vibrational energy that is really kind of stepping forward to come into fruition for so many of us right now. We're being challenged into new ways of being. And even as we go through the mask process, the shadow mask, the internal mask, our golden shadow mask, and as we really start to work with this Tonglen practice of really breathing through, that this is really an evolutionary way within our consciousness to begin to pull ourselves out of the fog, out of the shadow, and to begin to have more of a crystalline heart, inner eye view from our higher self of what is transpiring in multidimensional spectrum simultaneously. Therefore, we don't have this compressed or tiny pinpoint point of view of what is going on, but we're starting to have a little bit more of an expansive array into how we are beginning to see the larger picture. And as we are doing this, many of us are going to be challenged to step up in whole new ways. And some of these new steps are going to require rearranging a lot of things within our life that might feel very, very uncomfortable. And so as I was stepping into this energy, it was the energy of Bhairavi Yogini. And Bhairavi Yogini, you can see there, it's the lotus petal, it's the root chakra symbol, and very powerful energy. And so I'm just going to share, I'll hold this here. Sublime Bhairavi, fierce with sacred rage, cannot be deceived nor deterred. She is unflinching, fearless, and determined. She causes that which is unworthy of the soul to flee and secures divine protection for the authentic soul path. Her presence empowers our hearts to face our fears and signifies that we are ready to overcome anything that has held us back. She gives us the power to fulfill our heart's desires and reminds us to embrace our unique path with confidence. One of the things that I just thought was so powerful about this really symbolizes that she's saying that when Bhairavi arises, we are asked to embrace our true passions and allow them to burn and purify us from within. The Tantras teach that Bhairavi incites every form of passion and teaches the power to control them. This is why she is a yogini, a female adept that knows how to unleash and yet guide the wild energies of our being for sacred, passionate purpose. That when this energy enters in, one of the things that I just thought was so just profound, that it's really a fierceness that says, do it, step up. It's a fearless power, that asks us to face all of our fears. And I thought this was a really profound energy right now, especially as we are going through this shadow work. And as we are embracing this, really diving deep into these, I love that it's a skull and just this visualization of death. It's truly the death of the deepest root fears inside of us. And so as we were going through this, I definitely just want to invite just again to come into the awareness. We're in the gene key 52. And the gene key 52 has a shadow of stress. And we know that stress is just this overwhelm of energy, sometimes an overwhelm of how are we figuring out all the information that's coming through. And that we really get to realize how sensitive we are to the environments around us. And as you are aware of your sensitivities to this, that this allows you to begin to really bring in a more powerful way your ability for restraint for overreacting to things. So Bhairavi is asking us to really step into our passions, but to have control, fierce, powerful control. And I love that it goes right along with this 52 of restraint. It's a restraint to how we're reacting to our outward environment around us, and that we actually come into the city or this enlightenment of the gate 52, which is stillness, still like a mountain. And we can dive into that a little bit more at another time, but truly just to understand on a deep level that a mountain doesn't jump and react to every single thing that is happening upon its slopes and upon its crevices and upon its boulders. That a mountain is still, and then it moves within its own divine timing, and it moves within universal law. It moves within its own pace. Stillness like a mountain is not about being asleep in this life, but it is about being aware, lucid, ready for movement at any and every moment, but within a still place, that there is a void, a calmness within your home, Cancer energy, home, your home, your lunar, being at peace within the lunar cycles. And that as you start to follow these waves, these galactic waves, these natural waves, these lunar and emotional waves, that there is a stillness and a restraint to it. There is not a reaction, but that when the action does take place, that it comes from a very rooted, centered, powerful energy that is impulsed purely by the divine. With so much love, I just wanted to share this with you. I am really looking forward to our soul circle coming up here at the end of the day today. And with so much love, let us just hold this awareness as we dive deeper into this and the offering of this Bhairavi, Yogini, as she gives us this it just deep root center power that we can hold within as we hold our base lotus as that vibrational tone and frequency. Let that be the source where you sit in stillness to begin to truly know your courage, your power, and where's your higher self asking you to step up now. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you.